So next, I'm going to move on to significant digits. So before we start with significant digits, you need to understand what significant digits mean and what uncertainty and certainty is and how are measurements made. And then we'll talk about how many significant digits are there, etc. Now, when I ask you for the measurement of this line, and if you're using a centimeter scale అన్నమ్మా ఏది మీ ఇంట్లో ఉండే క్యామ్లిన్ స్కేల్ అవి కాదు. సెంటీమీటర్ స్కేల్ అంటే దాని మీద 1 సెంటీమీటర్, తర్వాత 2 సెంటీమీటర్, 3 సెంటీమీటర్, 4 సెంటీమీటర్, 5 సెంటీమీటర్, 6 సెంటీమీటర్, 7, 8 అలాగే మార్క్ చేసి ఉన్నాయి కానీ you do not have any millimeters marked on it. So when you give me the measurement of this line 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when you give me the measurement of this line, you can give it to me as 5 or you can give it to me as 6. Both are correct. Edi incorrect kaadu. Both these measurements are correct. You can give it to me as 5 or 6. Adenti 5.5 kada నాకు మధ్యలోకి వెళ్ళింది కనిపించింది. మీకేం తెలుసు అది 5.5 అని. Can you see the 0.5 mark there? If you can see it, yes, you can give it to me as 5.5. But when it is not marked as 5.5, you're not allowed to give it to me as 5.5. That is incorrect measurement. Scientifically, it is incorrect. Scientific measurements చేసేటప్పుడు in a lab when you're doing scientific measurements, you either give me the answer as 5 or 6. You cannot give me the answer as 5 point something. Okay? So, ఇప్పుడు మీరు నేను మీకు ఒక తాడిచ్చి లోపల పంపించి మెజర్ చేసి బయటకు వచ్చి చెప్పరా అన్న. So I'm not seeing how you're measuring. So I cannot see this line. Okay, నాకు ఈ లైన్ కనిపించట్లేదు. And you come out and give me the answer as 5. So I don't know if you gave me 5 because it stopped before 5 or because it stopped after 5. You are coming out and giving me the answer as 5. I don't know whether the line stopped before 5 or after 5. Adenti? Obviously, marindaka 5 ki 6 ki madhyalo agipote. What did you give me answer as? I told you can give it to me as 5 or 6 kada. So you can give me the lower limit or upper limit. So now when you come out and give me the answer as 5, you gave me the answer as 5. I don't know if 5 was the upper limit or if 5 was the lower limit. So that's why whenever you're giving me the answer as 5, you should always mention plus or minus 1 centimeter. Now why this plus or minus 1? Because I'm not telling you whether it is stopping to the left side of 5 or the right side of 5. So the maximum error is from this region to this region. Sudden ga error ane word vadesanenti ante the measurement could have stopped here or the measurement could have stopped here, but it's not reaching 4 or 6. Mind you, it's not reaching 4, it's not reaching 6. So the measurement of that line, whichever line I gave you, was maximum up to 4 or maximum up to 6. Okay, I hope you understood what I just said. I'm repeating again. Whenever I give you a line for measuring, you can give me the line's upper limit or the line's lower limit. You can stop when the line is only till here. You can give me the answer as 5 or 6. Okay, that is, as a person who's doing the experiment, it's up to you where you want to stop. Now, after you finish the experiment and come out, you're telling your sister or your brother how much the length of the line is. But if you don't tell them whether you gave upper limit or lower limit, and you just say 5, now your brother or sister has to consider the possibility of both. That is, you gave the lower limit or you gave the upper limit. So what is the maximum measurement of the line? So let's say your 5 was the lower limit. Maximum, ekkada agundochu line, it could have stopped here, but it could have also stopped here kada, or it could have stopped here also kada, but it's not reaching 6, because if it reaches 6, obviously you would have given the answer as 6. Why would you give 5 plus or minus anattu? You would not give the answer 5 if it reached 6 kada. If it reaches exactly 6, you'll give the answer as 6. But you gave 5 possibly because it crossed 5. But by how much? How much maximum can it cross 5 by? 5.9999999. This could also be the answer, right? So maximum upper limit for this line could be 5 to 6 majlo. Kabatti 5 plus 1 centimeter is the maximum upper limit. Or what if you gave 5 because it was short of 5 and it didn't reach 5 yet? So if it didn't reach 5 yet, you gave me the answer as 5 because it crossed 4. but it just crossed 4 ayundochu kada, and it could be 4.00000001 kada. So you could have also given me the answer as 5 because it's 4.000001. So there is also a possibility that 5 minus 1 centimeter could be the answer. So just about to reach 5 is covered in this range. Crossed 5 is covered in this range. Okay. Now, even if you don't understand this part, it's not a big deal. I'm just telling you how to scientifically give an answer for a measurement. This you will learn again in practicals. Okay. You're going to cover this point in the practicals. So I'm saying whenever someone gives the answer as 5, and if you're using a centimeter scale, you should always give the answer as 5 plus or minus 1 centimeter. That way, whoever is reading your measurement knows the range of the line. So you could have given the answer 5 because it just crossed 4, or you could have given the answer as 5 because it's just about to reach 6. So this is the range in which your measurement could be there. Okay. This is called the error in the measurement, maximum error that you could have made. If it is exactly at 4, obviously you're not going to give me the answer as 5. If it's exactly at 6, you will obviously not give me the answer as 5. So you are giving me the answer as 5 plus or minus 1 because it didn't reach 5 yet, or it didn't reach 6 yet. So this is called the error range. Okay. So error of 1 centimeter this side or 1 centimeter this side. Rendu allow cheyali nenu. Okay. Suppose you have a centimeter scale with millimeters marked in it. Then your answer will get better. How will the answer get better? This is how the answer gets better. Suppose you have a centimeter scale with millimeters marked on it. Let me mark the millimeters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so these are your millimeters marked on it. I don't think I can zoom the screen. If you can pinch the screen and zoom, guys, if you want. So I can't zoom in, but you can. So if the measurement came till here. Now when I drop, it's going till here. So now it is 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5. It's crossed 5.5, but it hasn't reached 5.6. So now when I give the answer, I'll give it as 5.5 plus or minus because it crossed 5.5 kada. Andukane I'll give it as 5.5 plus or minus. And this time plus or minus will be 0.1 centimeter. Obviously not 1 centimeter. Adenti, suddenly why did your error change? Because your measurement now has a decimal place. So if it crossed 5.5, maximum error this time is from here to here. This is your error now. So it did not cross 5.5, that's why you gave 5.5. Or it crossed 5.5, that's why you gave 5.5. So your error is becoming smaller. Because you have increased a decimal space, your error is becoming smaller. What now if I divide that also further? This 5.5 అనుకోండమ్మా, నేను zoom in చేశాను అనుకోండి. Let's say I zoomed in. I've zoomed in the 5.5 to 5.6. This is 5.6. Okay, and somewhere here is 5.4. Let's say I zoomed in this region. This region I'm zooming in. So when I zoom in, I have further measurements. Let's say the black line is crossing here. So now your answer will be 5.51, 5.52, 5.53, 5.54, 5.55, 5.56. It just crossed. So I have decided to give the answer as 5.56. But this time your error will be between this to this. Error is always plus or minus 1 small unit. Okay, the error is even becoming smaller. So now the answer will be 0.01 centimeters. So basically all this I am saying to show that this last number is always the uncertain number. After you make a measurement, this last one is uncertain because I don't know whether it crossed 6. That's why you gave me 5.56, or it did not reach 6. So you gave me 5.56. Has it just crossed 5.55 or has it just crossed 5.56? This is called the uncertain digit. The last number in the measurement is called the uncertain digit. So in case this is your measurement, this is called the uncertain digit. Okay. Now, the last point for today. There are two things whenever you do scientific measurements. There is human precision there is instrument precision. There is human error, there is instrument error. Instrument errors are covered in physics. Human errors have to be avoided. So don't do parallax errors. Okay. Make sure that your table is set properly, your datum is set properly. So make sure your table is not slanted. If there is an instrument error, so let's say instead of giving measurement as 0 kg, when nothing is put on the weighing scale, it is giving me a measurement of 0.5 kg. When no one is standing on the scale, it's giving 0.5. So obviously when you go on to the weighing scale and if you see that your weight is 61 kg, what will you give me your weight as? I know there is instrument error. So the weight is 60.5 kg. That's what you'll tell me because you know the instrument error. But if there is human error, if there is parallax error, you did not look at it from here, you're looking at it like this, then that has to be avoided from your end. There is no instrument correction. So there is human error, there is instrument error. Instrument error will be valid for all measurements. Human error depends. Maybe you looked at it from the left side, whereas your friend looked at it from the right side, whereas I am looking at it from the top. So human error is a very individual property, individual trait. So each one can give me a new type of error. Each person is giving me a new error. But instrument error is a fixed error. Now, no matter who makes the measurement, everyone will get the same error value. Then the other one is precision. What does precision mean? Human precision is different from instrument precision. Human precision means you're getting the same value every time. Same tappu ravochu, but same value every time. That's called human precision. You're getting the same error, but you're getting the same error every time. Leda, you're getting the same 2.05 on వచ్చింది అనుకోండి. Same 2.05 మళ్ళీ రావడం. That is called precise values. Instrument precision వేరు. We won't be doing instrument precision in chemistry. Instrument precision is how well are you able to measure with that instrument. So one instrument is giving me answer as 2.5 centimeters. Another one is giving me as 2.52 centimeters. Another one is giving me as 2.526 centimeters. Now, are any of them wrong? No, none of them are wrong. They are just getting more and more precise. That is the meaning of this word. This is called instrument precision. If you have more decimal places, then it is giving me a more precise measurement. What is the precise meaning? Meaning very, 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 very minute differences are also measured. Suppose you're measuring human people. After 60, it's okay to give the next weight as 61. But if it's someone who's dieting, then they would want to know if they are 61 or if they are 60.6 or if they are 60.3. Because every 200 grams lost for them is a very huge deal, kada? Ee roju nenu 300 grams tagganani cheppukodam is a very huge deal for them. So imagine someone who's dieting and who's seeing this weighing scale. After 61, he won't see a weight loss till 60. Whereas this person, today he's 61, tomorrow he's 60.6. So what goppaga cheppukuntadu, nenu 400 grams tagganu. And then tomorrow, day after he'll say, nenu 300 grams tagganu. Whereas this fellow cannot see his weighing scale differences till he loses 1 proper kg. So this is instrument precision. Adding more and more decimals is instrument precision. We are not going to do this in chemistry. In chemistry, we are going to do human precision and human accuracy. Okay. So let me tell you what human precision and human accuracy are. Suppose the actual weight of a substance is 22.00 grams. There are 3 students who are measuring the weights. And you cannot do just one experiment and say, I got my answer. Generally, we do 2 or 3 experiments and get an answer. So student A, student B, and student C are doing the measurements in 2 experiments. Student A, experiment 1. Actually, let's say 3 experiments. Experiment 2 and experiment 3. So they're doing 3 experiments and then they're giving me the final answers. Okay. So student A is measuring 2.00, 2.01, 2.00. Student B is measuring 1.95, 1.96, 1.95. Student C is measuring 2.03, 2.01, 1.98. Okay, these are the measurements of student C. So when I'm trying to find out if student A, B, and C are accurate or no, or precise or no, so let's see their accuracy and precision. So this is the accuracy of student A. This is the precision of student A, or accuracy of student B and precision of student B. Let's do that. Accuracy means how close is your experimental value to the real value. So how accurate is your measurement? Are you getting the correct answer? So yes, student A is accurate because the actual answer is 2 and all his 3 experiments are very close to 2 or exactly 2. Whereas student B is not accurate. He's probably having a parallax error. That's why he's getting all the values less than 2. So student B is not accurate. Student C is also not accurate. Once he's getting more than 2, once he's getting less than 2 and like very random values. So student C is also not accurate. Now let's look at the precision. Student A is very precise. Look at all his 3 measurements, very, very close to each other. Only a 0.01 error. So student A is very precise. Please keep in mind, I'm not talking about the instrument precision. Instrument precision is the same for all the 3. Look at all of them. All of them have the same decimal points. Okay. So student A is very precise. He's getting all the 3 values very close to each other. Student B is also very precise. He is making a parallax error, no doubt, but he's making the same parallax error. He's probably looking at it from left side, but he's always looking at it from the left side. But look at student C. He's so haywire, like everywhere, all over the place. Oksar left ochindi, oksar right ochindi. Okay. And the measurement is sometimes 3 more than the actual, sometimes it's 1 more than actual, sometimes it's 2 less than. So it's a very random measurement. So C is not at all precise. He's looking at it from the left parallax error one time, right parallax error one time. So student C is very bad with his precision. Student C is not at all precise. Okay. So student A is both precise and accurate. Student B is precise, but he's not accurate. It could be his mistake or the instrument mistake. I don't care. I gave the same instrument to all 3. That's my assumption. Okay. So I don't care about the instrument precision, instrument accuracy. I care about human precision, human accuracy. So A is accurate and precise. B is precise but not accurate. C is neither precise nor accurate. Okay. So this is how we do the lab experiment and we conclude. And then when you're giving the answers, I prefer a scientific method of notation. A scientific method of notation is giving the answer as A into 10 to the power of B, where A has to always be in terms of numbers between 1 to 10, 10 open bracket, 1 close bracket. So answers have to be as 5.6 into 10 to the power of B. B has to be integer. That's the only rule. Okay. So it's like -5 or something like that. Or it can also be 5.2 into 10 to the power of 6. You cannot give me the answer as 0.63 into 10 to the power of 7. This is not allowed. Then how do I give it in the, this is the scientific notation. Okay. So how do I give 0.63 into 10 power 7 in the scientific notation? You have to shift the decimal place. So to shift that, now those of you who are not familiar with this, when you shift the decimal place to the right, this is how you have to do it. Then 10 power 7, 10 into 10 power 6 and raskoali 0.63. So now multiply this, you get 6.3 into 10 to the power of 6. So how did I shift decimal to the right? By decreasing this value. So when you shift it to the right, when you shift your decimal to the right, decrease the power. So if you had 10 power minus 5, it would become 10 power minus 6. Okay. So if it's 10 power 7, it becomes 10 power 6. Negative unna, positive unna, decrease jal. That's more important. When you shift the decimal to the right, it has to decrease. If you have 256.8 into 10 to the power of minus 9. If you want to write this in the scientific notation, you are shifting decimal place to the left. And by how many units? 2 units. So it's basically 2.568 into 100 into 10 to the power of minus 9. So it becomes 2.568 into 10 to the power of minus 7. So when you shift decimal places to the left, your 10 to the power will increase. The 10 to the power part is called the exponential part. Okay, so the exponential part has to decrease or increase depending on where you're shifting your decimal place to. And by how many places are you shifting? Those many places, the 10 to the power will raise. Please remember, A has to be between 1 and 10 only. It can't be more than 10. It can't be less than 1. If it's 0 point something, please shift to the right. If it's 10 point something, please shift to the left. If anything more than 10, shift it to the left. Anything less than 1, shift it to the right. 0.99 is also not allowed. You have to write 1 point something. 1 into rayachu kavalante. Suppose you have 10,000. How do I write this number in scientific notation? It is 1 into 10 to the power of 4. Ila rayachu. Only that is allowed. Whenever you are doing an experimental estimation for a particular quantity, like if you're measuring weight kani, or if you're measuring distance kani or length kani, when you're doing all these measurements or volume measurements, we report the values based on which instrument you're using. So if your instrument is very precise, decimal tarvata, you will have more number of digits. So if you're using a vernier calipers, it measures even very, very tiny values. Kabatti, means centimeter scale kante, you get a better measurement. So like that, if I report the value as 356.218, if this is your reported value, this last digit is called the uncertain digit and the rest of them are certain digits. Now, why is it called the uncertain digit? And cheppan measurement chesetappudu, if it crosses this point and if it hasn't reached this point, so if your measurement is still here, you can either report this as the answer or this as the answer. So this last digit is uncertain. That's why whenever you give your measurement, so 0.218 and ichinappudu, you have to write plus or minus 0.001. Like let's say this value is in centimeters. So you have to write plus 0.001, plus or minus 0.001 centimeters. So it could have crossed the 8 or it could have just not reached 8. So both cases, I can report the answer as 0.218, whether it crossed 8 or whether it did not reach 8. In both cases, I can report 0.218 as the answer. So since I don't know, whoever did the measurement, I don't know if he reported 8 because it crossed or he reported 8 because it didn't reach 8. I don't know which case is it. So that's why whenever they give me the answer, they have to write plus or minus 0.001. So that I will always take 8 key, it could have been on this side, or 8 key, it could have been on this side. So I don't know whether it is on this side of 8 or whether it is on this side of 8. So it could have crossed 8 or it did not cross 8. So that's why I wrote. So it could have stopped somewhere here or it could have stopped somewhere here. I'm taking all possibilities into consideration. That is why this 8, it is uncertain. It could have crossed, it might not have crossed. So it's not exactly 8. So these are all called the certain digits and this is called the uncertain digit. Now your significant digits consist of both the certain plus the uncertain digit. So how many significant digits are there, Annapur? You have to consider both the certain and the uncertain digits. Okay. So whenever I report a value, if I ask you what are the number of significant digits, these are the rules that you need to apply. So these are your rules for calculating significant digits. Now, first rule is that all non-zero digits are significant. So a non-zero digit unna sare, you have to count it. So 285.1 anunte number of significant digits is 4. Ala. Okay, so all non-zero digits count cheyali. But what about zero? Zero ki 3 rules untai. Depending on the position of 0, you have 3 rules. So first rule is when your 0 is in between. Now, whenever you have zeros in between non-zero numbers, all of them are significant. So 2 non-zero numbers majhilo eppudu zeros ochina count cheyali vatni compulsory. So 501 అని ఉందనుకోండి, 0 ని count cheyali. So number of significant digits will be 3, even if there are decimals also. So 5.001 అని ఉన్న number of significant digits 4. So madhyalo unna zerolanni eppudu count cheyali. Next rule is when zeros come before, when zeros are in front of non-zero number. Zeros before aithe asal count cheyoddu. Do not count zeros in front of non-zero digits. I am not putting a clause. I am not saying do you have decimal, do you don't have decimal. There is no clause here. Whenever zeros are in front, don't count them. So you have, if you have 0, 3, 5, 4, your number of significant digits is 3. If you have 0.354 also, number of significant digits 3. If you have 0.00054 now, number of significant digits is 2. So whether there is a decimal or there is no decimal, it doesn't matter when the zeros are coming before a non-zero number. Zeros preceding the first non-zero number is not counted. Moving on to number 4 rule. Now for the zeros which are succeeding the non-zero number, and the zeros which come in the end, zeros which come to the rightmost after the last non-zero number, oche zeros. Now here it depends on the decimal. Now, is there a decimal or is there no decimal? It depends on that. So if you have it without any decimal places, then don't count it. So if you have like 100, then the number of significant digit is just 1. If you have 20500, careful, this is 0 in between, so you have to count it. These are zeros after, so you shouldn't count it. So number of significant digits is 3. These are zeros which are after, so don't count them. These two are not counted. So zeros after non-zero numbers are not counted. So when you don't have decimal places and the zeros come after, you're not going to count them. Now what happens when you have decimal places? Now when you introduce decimal places, the zeros which come after the decimal have to be counted. So if there is a decimal place, the zeros which come after the decimal have to be counted. A decimal has significance. A decimal is important. So as soon as you introduce a decimal, the zeros which are after the decimal have to be counted. But again, there is a clause here also. Okay. Now first let me put one number. If you have 0.250, now this 0 is not going to be counted. But this 0 has to be counted because it's coming after the decimal. You have to count that 0. So your number of significant digits become 3. 0.250000. You are not going to count these. You are going to count all 4 of these because they have come after the decimal. So zeros which come after the decimal are significant. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But again, if you have a non-zero number before the decimal, and then you have decimal places, so these become significant. Reason 1, because they are between non-zero numbers, andukane they are significant. This is also significant. So your numbers are now 4 plus 3, 7. What about if I don't have a non-zero number after? Even now, this has significance. So you're going to count these. So madhyalo vi count cheyakunda undakodu. So if you have zeros in between two counting numbers, you have to count them. So I'm counting these. Forget about the decimal point. So because of the decimal, I'm counting these, right? Because of non-zero, I'm counting these, right? So when you count 2 of them, then you have to count in between ones also. You're counting the right side zeros, you're counting the left side 18. Now these 2 zeros are in between, so you have to count them. So your total significant digits here are 6. I'm repeating this again. Before example, you have non-zero, non-zero. So yes, you're counting them. Before that, these are counted, but these are before the non-zero number. So that's why you're not counting them. Next, if you have 100 point, yes, you will count them. If you have 100 point also, yes, you will count them. This is counted because it's non-zero and this has significance. So therefore, the answer for this is 3. Adentala buddunodu evadana 100 point ani pedtada ante sometimes they give the value as 100 point. Appudu pettali. కావాలని టెస్ట్ చేయడానికి ఎక్స్పెరిమెంటల్ గా నువ్వు 100 పాయింట్ అని పెడతావో లేదో గానీ when you give it as a numerical, when I give it as a sum, then you have to write the number of significant is 3. అదే ఉట్టి 100 పెడితే this rule is not applicable అమ్మా. ఉట్టి 100 పెడితే so without decimal కాబట్టి I'm not going to count these. If I write 100.0, you have to count this because it's after decimal. You have to count this because it is non-zero. So obviously in between we could count cheyali. So the answer becomes 4. If you write 100, the answer is 1. If you write 100 point, the answer is 3. If you write 100.0, the answer is 4. 100.00, the answer is 5. Next rule. In scientific notation, all digits are significant. So scientific notation lo mana 0.00 రాయంగా మన స్టార్టింగ్ 1 పాయింట్ నుంచి కదా and again 10 point and రాయనుగా నేను. So that's why in scientific notation all digits are significant. So scientific notation ఎలా ఉంటుంది మనకి 5.23 లేదా 1.00 into 10 to the power of 5 into 10 to the power of minus 2. Please don't count these. Exponential form is not counted in scientific notation. 3 significant digits. Suppose you write 2.563 into 10 to the power of minus 9. Number of significant digits is 4 in this. Okay. Suppose you write 0.53. అసలు మీరు రాసింది సైంటిఫిక్ నోటేషన్ కాదు అని అలవాళ్ళం. అది సైంటిఫిక్ నోటేషనే కాదు. సరే సైంటిఫిక్ నోటేషన్ కాదు, ఆన్సర్ చెప్పు. 0.53 into 10 to the power of minus 1. ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ ఇలా రాయడమే తప్పు, సైంటిఫిక్ నోటేషన్ కానప్పుడు. ఓకే, ఇలా హౌ కెన్ యూ రైట్ 10 to the power of minus 1 and write 0.53? దాన్ని కన్వర్ట్ చేసుకోండి. 0.053 అవ్వాలి అప్పుడు. అది దిస్ కౌంట్స్ as బిఫోర్ నాన్ జీరో నంబర్ కింద లెక్క కదమ్మా. ఇది కూడా కౌంట్ చేయకూడదు. సో ఆన్సర్ ఇస్ 2. ఇది బిఫోర్ నాన్ జీరో నంబర్ కింద లెక్క కదమ్మా, ఆఫ్టర్ నాన్ జీరో కాదు. చూడండి, going back to that rule, this is where you'll make a mistake. This is counted as before non-zero. This is counted as before non-zero. Decimal undi kada anakandi. Decimal is not a criteria. Zero position is the criteria. Zeros in between, zeros in front, and zeros after. That is your criteria. If you have zeros after, you have a clause. It's a sub-criteria. Zeros after unnaka okavela decimal unte, that is a different case. Last rule. Counting numbers. Counting numbers ante, if I say 5 eggs, 6 balls, 10 apples, ilantivi counting numbers, they have infinite significant digits. Enduku ante, when I say I have 2 balls, to increase the precision, I can even say I have 2.0000 balls. I can even say I have 2.000000000000 balls. You can just keep on increasing. You can keep on increasing the precision. I can put any number of zeros kabatti I have infinite number of significant digits.
Ma'am, ippudu 100 kuda oka counting number e kada ma'am?
Adi neeku measuring number or counting number ela telisindamma? Nenu cheppana? Nenu okavela maybe I measured the length and I wrote 100. How do you know it's number of things? If I tell you someone measured the number of marbles and he got the number as 250. Now give me the number of significant digits ante appudu nu infinity anali. If someone did a measurement of 250 centimeters, now give the significant digits ante no 2 anali. 250 centimeters lo aithe 2 untundi because zero
ippudu 100 marbles
vaniki chepte 100 marbles ani, then yes, significant digits are infinity. But నీకు దేని మెజర్మెంట్ చెప్పకపోతే యూ షుడ్ అజ్యూమ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ అ లెంత్ గానీ వాల్యూమ్ గానీ అలా అనుకుని చేయాలి. సో జనరల్ గా ఇవ్వాలి, అంతేగాని అది కౌంటింగ్ నెంబర్ అనుకుంటాను అని ఇవ్వకూడదు.
థ్యాంక్ యూ మ్యామ్.
Once you know the number of significant digits, next we're going to do how to round off. Okay, rules for rounding off. Rules for rounding off. The first rule is మళ్ళీ ఇక్కడ కూడా 3 రూల్స్ ఉంటాయమ్మా. ఫస్ట్ రూల్, సెకండ్ రూల్ ఏదైనా అంటే జనరల్ గా అప్లై చేసేది, థర్డ్ దానికి క్లాజ్ ఉంటుంది. సో ఫస్ట్ రూల్ ఇస్ when you're rounding off, first of all right side నుంచి మొదలు పెడతాం. అది మనకు తెలుసు కదా, అందరికీ తెలుసు కదా. రౌండ్ ఆఫ్ చేసేటప్పుడు we start from the rightmost digit. So when your rightmost digit is being removed, if the number you're removing, if the removing number is greater than 5, then దాని ముందర number ని increase by 1. The preceding number is increased by 1. Okay, so for example, if I ask you to round off 565.786, if I ask you to round this off to 2 decimal places, then మీరు 6 తీసేటప్పుడు, since 6 is more than 5, దాని ముందర నంబర్ ని ఇంక్రీజ్ బై 1. సో you'll make it 565.79. ఓకే, ఆ 6 ని తీసేసేయాలి, మళ్ళీ తీసి 0 పెట్టడం లాంటివి చేయకూడదు. మీరు ఏం ట్రై చేస్తున్నారు, నంబర్ ఆఫ్ డెసిమల్ ప్లేసెస్ ని తగ్గించాలని కదా. సో 0 పెట్టకూడదు కదా. అప్పుడు నంబర్ ఆఫ్ సిగ్నిఫికెంట్ డిజిట్స్ తగ్గించడం అంటే 0 పెట్టకూడదు. 0 పెడితే ఏంటి, సిగ్నిఫికెంట్ డిజిట్స్ ఇంతకు ముందు 6 సిగ్నిఫికెంట్ డిజిట్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ఇప్పుడు కూడా 6 సిగ్నిఫికెంట్ డిజిట్స్ ఉంటాయి 0 పెడితే. సో అందుకని 0 పెట్టకూడదు. ఓకే, రౌండింగ్ ఆఫ్ చేసేటప్పుడు లాస్ట్ లో డెసిమల్ తర్వాత 0 పెట్టకూడదు. సో ఇప్పుడు ఎన్ని ఉంటాయి సిగ్నిఫికెంట్ డిజిట్స్? 5 ఉంటాయి, కరెక్ట్ గా ఉంటాయి. ఇప్పుడు ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ అ నంబర్ లైక్ 4586, దీన్ని రౌండ్ ఆఫ్ చేసేటప్పుడు జాగ్రత్త అమ్మా, దీంట్లో నంబర్ ఆఫ్ సిగ్నిఫికెంట్ డిజిట్స్ 4 ఉన్నాయి. ఇఫ్ ఐ ఆస్క్ యూ టు డిక్రీజ్ ద నంబర్ ఆఫ్ సిగ్నిఫికెంట్ డిజిట్స్ అండ్ మేక్ ఇట్ 3, మీరు రౌండ్ ఆఫ్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఇది తీయాలి కదా, తీసి 459 చేస్తారు, బానే ఉంది. అంటే దీనికి +1 చేశారు, బానే ఉంది. ఇప్పుడు 0 పెట్టాలమ్మా. ఎందుకు 0 పెట్టకపోతే వాల్యూ మారిపోతుంది. చూడండి, 4586 ని రౌండ్ ఆఫ్ చేయండి రా అంటే 459 అని ఎలా రాస్తారు? తప్పైంది కదా. కానీ ఇంకొకటి మీరు ఈ 0 పెట్టడం వల్ల మీకేమి సిగ్నిఫికెంట్ డిజిట్స్ పెరగట్లేదు చూడండి. నంబర్ ఆఫ్ సిగ్నిఫికెంట్ డిజిట్స్ ఇస్ స్టిల్ 3. సో దీన్ని రౌండ్ ఆఫ్ చేసే పద్ధతి ఇది. డెసిమల్ తర్వాత అయితే కనుక జీరోస్ పెట్టకూడదు. If it's before decimals or if there is no decimal involved, then you have to put a 0 in its place. ఇంకొక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇస్తాను చూడండి. 432.6. Okay, if you are trying to round this off, it has to be 433. Do not put the point and 0 because in this significant digits are 4. If you're trying to reduce the significant digits to 3, this is not the answer. Because in this particular example, significant digits will be 4 because after decimal zeros are counted. Right? So in this case, you're supposed to round it off to this. Okay? You cannot write 0.0. That's not allowed. Rule number 2. If the number is less than 5, then you will remove it, but don't add anything. So if you have 456.4 and if you're rounding this off, from 4 significant digits, if I ask you to round it off to 3 significant digits, you'll write 4560. Don't change the 6. Whereas if you have a decimal place, for the decimal place, you will put 456.4. 4 significant digits. If I ask you to round it off to 3 significant digits, you'll write 456 and don't write anything later. If I give you a number with proper decimals, 565.321. So if I ask you to round this off, you'll from 6 digits. If I ask you to make it 5 digits, you'll write it as 565.32. Please don't put the 0. Remember, significant digits and rounding off go hand in hand. So you have to know how many significant digits you're rounding off to properly. So check how many digits he's asking you to round it off to. Suppose he asked me to round this off to, let me change numbers. Yeah. Suppose he asked me to round this off to 2 significant digits. ఈ నంబర్ ని 2 significant digits కి రౌండ్ ఆఫ్ చేయమంటే ఫస్ట్ నేను దాన్ని 568.3 చేస్తా. అంటే నేను 2 తీసేసాను. నెక్స్ట్ I'll make it 568 because I removed the 3. Next I'll make it 5. This is, I'm removing 8, so I have to increase this by 1 unit. So 570. Okay, so this should be your answer if I say 2 significant digits. If I ask you 1 significant digit, it will become 600.
Ma'am, 5403 ఉంటే దానికి 4 significant digits ఉన్నాయి అన్న. దాన్ని 3 గా చేయాలంటే ఎలా?
దీన్ని 3 గా చేయాలి అంటే you have to shift it to the scientific notation, otherwise you can't make it 3. So round off చేసినప్పుడు 00 పెట్టగానే 2 significant digits అయ్యాయి. So it's going from 4 directly to 2 కాబట్టి introduce a decimal space. That will make it easier. So you'll write it as 554.0 into 10 to the power of 2 అని రాస్తా. ఇప్పుడు ఎన్ని అయినాయి significant digits? 3. కాకుండా నువ్వు సైంటిఫిక్ లో కాకుండా చెప్పు అంటే then there's no way I can write it as 3 significant digits. కంపల్సరీ నాకు సైంటిఫిక్ నోటేషన్ లో మార్చుకోవాలి నేను అది ఇంకా. Rule number 3 is about 5. So when your last digit is 5, now here you have clauses, 2 sub conditions. So if you're rounding off the digit 5, if you're trying to remove the digit 5, then 5 ముందరున్న number ఏంటో చూసుకోవాలి. You have to check the number before 5. If the number before 5 is an even number, you have a different rule. If the number before 5 is an odd number, you have a different rule. So it depends on even or odd. So if the number before 5 is even, then remove the 5 and don't change it. If the number before 5 is odd, remove the 5 and add 1 to it. 5 mundu pedda numbera chinna numbera kaadu, that doesn't matter. 5 mundu do you have even or do you have odd? That matters. So 5 mundu if you have even number, then you have to keep it the same. 5 mundu if you have odd number, then it will increase by 1 unit. For example, 625, and let me just put a point. So if you're trying to round this off, then you will remove the 5 and write it as 6.2. Other if I have 6.15, chudandi 1 is smaller than 2. That is not the point. Now if you remove the 5, you have to increase this. This also becomes 6.2. If suppose you have 6.65, it will remain as 6.6. If you have 6.1, it will become 6.2. So 1 chinnadi, 6 peddadi, adi kadamma point. 6 5 kante peddadi, 1 5 kante chinnadi, adi kuda kaadu point. The only clause is even and odd. That is the only thing that matters. Do you have an even number before it or do you have an odd number before it? If you have an even number, don't increase it. If you have an odd number, then increase it. That's the only clause. So now that you know how to round off, next we are going to see the rules when you add or subtract or when you multiply and divide scientific quantities. మనం ఇప్పుడు మామూలుగా సమ్ ఇచ్చినప్పుడు యాడ్ చేయండి, మల్టిప్లై చేయండి, సబ్ట్రాక్ట్ చేయండి, డివైడ్ చేయండి అంటే టపటప చేసి పడేస్తాం. We don't really care for the rules. We don't apply any rules actually. But when you are doing as an experiment and when I ask you to report a value as the final answer, and when you're doing calculations, you have to give it to me in a scientific method. All these rules have to be followed. The significant digit rules, the rounding off rules, and these addition, subtraction, multiplication, division rules. For addition and subtraction, you have the same rules. Okay, and what is the rule? Now, suppose you measure the weights of 2 or 3 substances. Okay, first substance, okay, instrument to measure chesanu. The value I got is 12.11 అనుకో. ఇంకొక దాని వెయిట్ నేను వేరే ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంట్ తో మెజర్ చేశాను. ఎందుకు అలా చేశానంటే నా ఇష్టం, నాకు అలా చేయబుద్దని నేను చేస్తున్నాను. 18.6. థర్డ్ ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంట్ తో ఇంకొక దాని వెయిట్ మెజర్ చేశాను. I got it as 1.012. Now, if I ask you what are the weights of all these substances together, normal ga add cheyandi. First maamuluga add cheseseyandi. This is my value, but you should not report this as the answer. You should report your final answer only after rounding off. Enta varaku round off cheyali? What is the rule? Till where do I have to round off ante? Look at the terminology I'm using. Your final answer cannot be more precise than your least precise instrument. Now, which instrument is least precise here? This one. Precision, instrument precision ఏమని చెప్పానమ్మా? డెసిమల్ తర్వాత ఎన్ని డిజిట్స్ వరకు అని. సో ఈ ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంట్ ఏమని ఇస్తుంది నాకు? 18.6 grams అనే ఇస్తుంది. ఈ ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంట్ చాలా బాగా ఉంది, అంటే మేబీ ఇది గోల్డ్ షాప్ లో ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంట్ ఏమో, అందుకనే 1.012 వరకు ఇచ్చింది. ఇది మా ఇంట్లో వెయింగ్ స్కేల్ ఏమో, అందుకని 18.6 వరకే ఇచ్చింది. So this is the one which is least precise. So whoever is your least precise measurement, your final answer cannot be more better than this. That's what it means. Okay, your final answer cannot be better than this. Kabatti you have to round off to this one's precision. Now, what is the precision of this? 1 decimal place. So you have to round off to 1 decimal place. Number of digits kadamma ikkada matter. You have to round off to 1 decimal place. That's the point. So now what's your rounding off for this? How do you round off for this? Remove 2, don't do anything because it's less than 5 kada. Remove 2, don't do anything because it's less than 5 kada. So 31.7 is your final answer. This has to be your answer. You cannot give me the answer as 31.722. ఏముంది రెండు ఒకటే కదా, 722 అయితే ఏంటి, 7 అయితే ఏంటి? No, both are not the same. If you write 722, then the next measurement you can do is 0.723 an ardham. So this is the value which I change an ardham. Whereas writing it like this implies the next measurement is 31.8 an ardham. So రెండిటికి తేడా ఉంది కదమ్మా. You are able to measure even better అని కదా ఇట్లా రాస్తే అర్థం. You're only changing the 0.001. So your error is plus or minus 0.001 kada దీంట్లో. So the uncertain digit ఇదైనట్టు కదా, కానీ మన uncertain digit అది కాదు కదా. The next measurement here becomes 18.7 kada. So the uncertain digit is the first number after decimal place. So that's why your answer will be 31.7 plus or minus 0.1 avvali, because your least precise instrument ante undali. So that's your rule for addition and subtraction. Subtraction ki kuda same. Next rule is for multiplication and division. Just like addition and subtraction have the same rule, multiplication and division have the same rule. Now multiply normally, just do your normal multiplication like you always do. So answer is 3.125. So 3.125 is your normal multiplication chestanamma, kani idi kaadu final answer. After multiplying, you still have to report it by rounding off. Always remember, when someone asks you to add or multiply or divide or subtract, do it normally how you have been doing all these years. But then before reporting the final answer, always remember to round off. Now for multiplication and division, what do you round it off to? Count the number of significant digits in the quantities you are multiplying. దీంట్లో ఎన్ని significant digits? 3. దీంట్లో ఎన్ని significant digits? 2. So your final answer should be rounded off to 2 significant digits. So while doing multiplication and division, the final result should not have more significant digits than the one with the least significant digits. Repeating my sentence. Your final answer cannot have more significant digits than the one with the least significant digits. So who's the one with least significant digits here? 2 kada. So your final answer should have 2 significant digits. Decimals kadamma, ikkada decimals kadu. Ikkada significant digits have to be 2. So get 2 significant digits. Okay. So I'll remove 5. This is an even number, so I won't change it. So I'll make it as 3.12. Any significant unnai? 3 unnai. Inka 3 unnai kabatti. I'll remove 2 and now your significant digits are 2. So your final answer is 3.1. 1 0 pettakuddu. 3.1. So we're done with significant digits.